At the very outset, I wish to place my pranams to Puja Swami Chidanandji and Vibhaji. My sincere thanks and best wishes to all the participants on this webinar today. As you all know, we have had 3 parts to this webinar on well-being. And in the earlier parts, we have covered the basic tenets of the philosophy of Veda, which we need to understand in order to appreciate the Shodasha Samskāras. We have hitherto completed from Garbhadana to Upanayana, the first 10 Samskars, and we will, in this episode of the series, the final one, the concluding one, we will discuss the rest of the 6 Samskars, which are very major, which are very important. I have a lot of ground to cover in the next 1 hour. So without further ado, I'll get into starting the 11th Samskar, which is vedārambha. Vedārambha is mostly done along with Upanayana. They are kind of, we can say, using the modern term, back to back. The Upanayana, which we covered in the last episode, is Upanayana, taking the children to their masters, bringing them to Gurukula. Most of the Gurukulas used to do vedārambha on the same day that they used to give Upanayana Samskara to students. Some gurus used to prefer for the students to settle down, acclimatize themselves with the way of Gurukula, and then do it at a much later date, a few weeks later. So vedārambha basically earmarks the starting of the students' formal education. So the Samskar begins with the student doing a small yajna, and then student earnestly making a prayer in which he seeks the blessings of the Almighty, the Paramatman, for his health, for his mental stability, for lessening his doshas, and most importantly, there are mantras which ask the student to ask for a focus, an undeterred focus, so that he can concentrate on the studies. So prayers of these kinds happen, and in response to that, Acharyas will, in vedārambha, one of the most important aspects of this samskar, will prescribe Gayatri mantra to the students. This Gayatri mantra is one of the most popular mantras in Vedas. Why we say it's the most popular mantras? For the simple reason that it appears not just in one but multiple places in all the 4 Vedas. It is the Yajurveda mantra 36.3, but it also appears in Yajurveda mantra 3.35, 22.9, 30.2. It comes also in Rigveda 3.62.10. It's also 1461 in Samaveda. So many places this mantra is repeated, so we can on the face of it itself understand that this is a very important mantra, and it's a very beautiful mantra. We all know that. Om bhurvuvassuvaha tatsavitur varenyam bargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yo na prachodayat. This is the mantra. I will not get into explaining the entire mantra, but I would like to draw your attention for 4 important words in this mantra. If we understand these 4 words well, then we will be able to appreciate the impact that this mantra can have on our lives. Those 4 words which are very important is Bhargaha, Dhimahi, Dhiyaha, Prachodayat. So what is the student once initiated with this mantra is actually asking? He is asking the Bhagavan to give him Bhargaha, Bhargas. Bhargas is derived from the dhatu Bhrastvapake, which means to refine, to fry. The student is asking ability to quell, ability to destroy what? The bad thoughts in him as and when it arises within him. So he is asking for the ability to destroy all the bad thoughts as and when it arises in him. That is the Bhargas. And like all Vedic mantras, it doesn't just ask for something and then leave it at that stage. It immediately puts the responsibility on the asker, the seeker, that this is your responsibility. So what is the responsibility of the student once he gets that kind of a Bhargas? That is Dhimahi. Dai Dharana Poshana Yoho is the dhatu, means Dharana and Poshana. The student is telling, if Bhagavan, please help me get this beautiful ability to quell, to destroy the bad thoughts as it emerges in me. And I promise you, Bhagavan, that once you give me this ability, I will dharana poshana yoga. I will wear it on me and I will nurture it. What is meant by I am going to wear it? It only means that I will make it as an integral part of my personality. And then I'm going to nurture it, not just do it once or twice, but I'll nurture it so that it stays with me for the rest of my life. And the next two words is Diyaha Prachodayat. Now again, the student is asking the Bhagavan, Prachodayat, motivate me, encourage me, throw light upon me, ensure that I do this. What? On what is he asking for motivation from the God? He is asking on three aspects. Diyaha, which is thoughts, which is speech, which is actions. We discussed in Upanayanam when I said it will come back to this when we touch upon vedārambha. The Shuddha Trayas, the Chintana, walk and Kaya. Just look at the way Veda so logically constructs these things. For example, I want to do something bad to somebody, right? I will end up doing something bad to him through an action. Do we blame the action? No, because the action has emerged much later to your language actually talking foul about that person. You already started a few weeks back or some time back before you actually go and commit something wrong on somebody. You have already started talking wrong about him with everybody that you come across. Your language is foul. So do we blame the language? No, language is actually an outcome of the thought. Few weeks back or some time back, you have had bad thoughts about that person, bad thoughts of what you want to end up doing. Those thoughts over a period of time has become your language, and your language over a period of time has become your action. So if you want to control, clean up your actions, control and clean up your language. And if you want to clean up your language, go and control and clean up your thoughts. So in this mantra, the student is asking the Bhagavan to motivate him to do good on all these three spheres, but is asking for the bhargas, the ability, the fire, which is going to allow him to quell the bad thoughts as and when it arises within him at the very source. It's a beautiful mantra. It's not asking for Aishwarya. It is not asking for, fame, name, and all those materialistic things. That is why this mantra is so very important and so very powerful. But all that it is asking is, please help me remove the bad thoughts in me as and when it arises. We have to keep on telling this as many times as possible in order to wear it and make it as an integral part of our personality. And look at the timing at which this mantra is prescribed. It is for the student, and we know that the Upanayana and the vedārambha happens between the age of 8 to 12. And what's that age? That's the adolescence, right? That's the adolescence. And that is the time when a student or a boy or a girl needs this kind of shikshana, this kind of education. World Health Organization actually in its paper very clearly, after a lot of case studies and other things, say that boys become alcoholics, boys become drug addicts somewhere around the age of 12 to 14. And the girls become alcoholics, girls become drug addicts sometime around the age of 14 to 16. This is their own observation and recording. Veda knew this long back. That's why when they get the student at that age of adolescence, the first mantra that is being prescribed and initiated into their mind is ask, and then work towards what? Towards ensuring that there are no bad thoughts itself coming in you, so that your walk and kaya will be as pure as possible. And once these three, the Shuddha Trayas, are in control or in equilibrium, then whatever you do is going to be a great step forward. So this is a very beautiful aspect of the Veda mantra. And they make it like an auto suggestion. They ask the student to do this every morning and evening and morning and evening, so that the boy or the girl who's initiated with this is able to make it into a part of their personality. Then the samskar will talk about introducing the students who are on the campus. This is something like an induction program, we can say. introducing the students on the campus with regards to the dress that they need to wear, the diet that they need to follow, what's the routine that they will be following in that Gurukula, and so on and so forth. And because the boys who are in the adolescence age, and especially the girls who are in the adolescent stage, they are nearing their puberty. When they come into the Gurukulas, there are Veda mantras which tells the girl students as to the kind of inner wear that they need to wear in order to maintain hygiene and cleanliness. What a beautiful way these mantras take us to every aspect of human beings and human life. This is where we fall in love with Vedas. Then another very, very important aspect is introduced during vedārambha, and that is bhiksha. Bhiksha, as far as Veda Bhasha is also concerned, means the same thing. Bhiksha, bhikshayam is the dhatu, which means to beg, to plead, everything. But this is something different. This bhiksha is not the bhiksha that somebody is going to ask us on the roads and in front of the temples. This bhiksha is very different. And in order to understand this, we need to understand the Vedic philosophy once again with respect to education. According to the Vedic philosophy, education is free for all, like food is free for all. Education is free for all. This is what Veda prescribes. So the Gurukulas, which is taking students, cannot charge a donation, cannot charge a fees. They have to impart education free of cost, but they need to survive. They need to live. Here Veda takes the next step and tells it is the society's responsibility to ensure that the Gurukulas run well. That is why we will see in vivāha samskāra later on, where the one who is getting into grihastha-ashrama, one of his responsibility is to take care of the Gurukulas in his area. So that is his responsibility. This is one aspect. Societal responsibility to run Gurukulas. So the Gurukulas don't have to charge a fee for anyone, and they are at liberty to teach what they believe in. As simple as that. There is another very important aspect of bhiksha. When the student goes to collect every day, the people do not give them cooked food, like we treat our beggars, we give the food which is already becoming stale and then think that we have done a great job. No, they have to give the ingredients. So there is nothing like stale food being given, which is otherwise would have been wasted in the house. They give what they use in their kitchen, and all of that collectively gets used in the Gurukula by the staff. When they get the students come to their place, they talk to them, they convey a certain learning to them, and the student, because he is taking that food or money at times when they offer money to the Gurukulam, they are subconsciously, they know the fact that they have a lot to repay to the society, because they are actually going through their process of learning because of the magnanimity of the society, because of the service that society is doing towards their Gurukula. So there is a connect between the student and the society, and this helps in the well-being of the student when he comes out. When he comes out, he is in a position now to understand what he has gone through, and he is ready to repay back to the society. Once again, as a grihastha, and taking care in turn the Gurukulas that are in his area, that comes into his contact. There is another beautiful aspect of bhiksha. This is a great social leveler. Whether the student who comes into the Gurukula is a prince or a beggar's son or a daughter, it doesn't make any difference. Once they come to the Gurukula, they are all into the same routine. They sleep at the same place. They eat the same food. They go through the same education. It's a great social leveler. There is nothing like rich, poor, and all of these aspects at all. So from this perspective, bhiksha is very beautiful concept within vedārambha that the students are exposed to. They don't have to feel bad that they are going asking for somebody, and somebody also from the society is not giving them with, oh, I have to give kind of an attitude. It is a very mutual kind of a respectful connect that establishes the Gurukula along with the society through this bhiksha. In fact, till very recently, 2 generations from us, they had this, what we in Kannada we call it as vānaprastha, where students who are not well off used to go one day to one house and then have their lunch and dinner. Vānaprastha, every day in a week they used to go to, and the kind of, the debt and the sense of repaying that debt for them when they finish their education is far more than most of us who don't go through that. And I was very much impressed when I used to visit Myanmar, for example, where even today I see the Buddha bhikshus every afternoon, morning, and evening, going into the business houses, into the houses, and taking their contributions. And I used to see the kind of very friendly demeanor between the corresponding communication that they used to have, and I used to feel so good about it. So this is something which is a very important aspect of vedārambha. And then parents will get together and then give their advice to the wards before they depart, as to how they should conduct themselves, how they should consider acharyas to be the final say in their life from now on, and so on and so forth. With this, vedārambha as a samskara comes to an end. The next one, the 12th one, is samāvarthana. Vedārambha was to mark the beginning of the formal education, and samāvarthana is to conclude the formal education. That probably could be the last day of the student's stay in Gurukula. It also symbolizes a lot of things, because as a brahmacharya means not celibacy at all. Brahmacharya is one who is focused entirely in accumulation of knowledge. Even a grihastha can be a brahmacharya from that perspective. So brahmachari, during his stay in Gurukula, had a lot of restrictions in terms of diet, in terms of the routine he has to follow, and so on and so forth. Now that he has completed his formal education and is going out to build his career, and as a part of it he is also going to become a grihastha, a lot of these rules that were binding him together is getting a little bit relaxed. And this is the symbolic part of the samāvarthana, telling him that you are now going to be a lot more relaxed than what you were here. And the brahmacharis in the Gurukula during samāvarthana will go through a very special bath. They take a bath from 8 different earthen pots containing water. They have bath from all the 8 pots, and this symbolizes the fact that after the education and when they go outside into the world, whichever 8 directions that they may take in their life, whichever 8 directions that they may walk out of the Gurukula, they will carry the purity of water in their thoughts, in their walk, and then in their, not walk means in their speech, and in their actions. So this is what it symbolizes. And because the students have this very special bath, the samāvarthana is also called, after samāvarthana, the student is also called snataka or snatike, depending upon whether it's a boy or a girl. There are a lot of shishyopadesha that happens as a part of this sanskar. They have gone through a minimum of 6 to 8 years of studies in the Gurukulam, where they have learned not just the Vedas. Vedas is just the basics, but life skills, various occasional training for various people based on their aptitudes and learning skills. All of this they have gone through this. Now on the final day, the acharyas once again get together to give them all the education that they have given, the life education, life shikshana that they have imparted in a very concise capsule form. They use the Taittareya Upanishad, Shikshavalli 11.1 to 4, beautiful verses. It says, Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Swadhyayanma Pramadaha Acharyaya Priyam Dhanamahritya Prajatantuma Vyavachetsi Satyanna Pramaditavyam Dharmanna Pramaditavyam Kushalanna Pramaditavyam Bhutyenna Pramaditavyam Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam na Pramaditavyam Deva Pitru Karyabhyam na Pramaditavyam Matru Devo Bhava Pitru Devo Bhava Acharya Devo Bhava Atiti Devo Bhava. And they continue all the preachings, all the good things that they have taught them in this, and at the end they will come and say, acharyas will say, Esha Adeshaha, Esha Upadeshaha, Esha Vedopanishad, Esha Yetadanushāsanam, Evam Upasitavyam, Evam Upasitavyam. Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, tell the truth, be righteous, Swadhyayanma, in your self-learning, in your self-introspection, don't make any compromises. But the next line is very beautiful. It says, Acharyaya Priyam Dhanamahritya. Whatever is the wealth that is very, very sacred, very, very important, very, very affectionately considered by your acharyas, you acquire that. What is the wealth that the acharyas ever want? Acharya's biggest wealth is when Acharya sees his students walking into their life and into the society and continuing this Guru Shishya Parampara, doing something good to the societies. Whenever somebody comes and says, hey Acharya, your so and so student has done this beautiful things, Acharya feels so good. It's like hitting a jackpot of a couple of lakhs of rupees for him. Invaluable, invaluable. So Acharya Priyam Dhanamaharatya, acquire that. So very beautifully it says, instead of telling the student go and do good things, it says, whatever your Acharya considered as his wealth, it is now your responsibility to go back and fulfill in the society. Satyanna Pramadita. Don't be careless when it comes to speaking truth, when following dharma. Say, for example, careful, being careful is very different. It's got a subtle meaning. It's like, for example, let's say, Bhutyenna Pramaditavyam. In terms of acquiring the materialistic world, be careful. When it says be careful, you know what it means? It means that you should know the entry point and the exit point when it comes to this. You should know the minimum and the max values for this. What is it telling? You should acquire as much as it's required. You should acquire as much as it's required, and at the same time, you should know when to stop. If you know these two limits, then you are careful with whatever you are doing. They say in Kannada, they say Visha kuda amrutavagogbidutte hitimittadallidre anta. Even poison can become nectar, can become elixir if you know the limits. So describing that limits is the pramaditavyam, be careful. But here the Veda mantra's core here, when it comes to the last one, it says Yesha adeshaha. Yesha upadeshaha. This is our instruction. This is our advice to you. Yesha Vedopanishad. This is the truth. Etadanushāsanam. This is the edict. This is the rule. Yeva mupasitavyam. You should follow this. Now tell me, which other prayers in the religious context that we say has this authority to tell that this is what you need to follow? No compromise, no shortcuts, no alternatives. No. Veda mantras, because they speak truth, they have that conviction. They have that conviction to tell the listener, tell the seeker that this is my instruction and you better follow it. You can question, you can ask any question, but then the Veda, because it believes in what it is telling as the fundamental truth, and because the Vedas have come to us right from the Paramatma Paurusheya, they have the conviction, the strength, the moral strength to very clearly tell this is it, idamittam. No other prayers that we come across in our religious texts has this conviction when they make those announcements. Most important aspect of samāvarthana is this is the time when the students are asked to show their talent, their learnings to the society. The society has gathered there, their parents, other people from the society are all there, and they are testing them, asking questions, what they have learned, and so on and so forth. All of this happens, and the Acharya at the end of it will stand up and say, so and so belongs to this varna. The varna of the students are announced in samāvarthana, not jati, not caste. Vedas didn't have caste at all. Jati, as far as Veda is concerned, is species. At the best, at the most, it is species. Human species, animal species, plant species, that's all. No caste. But it had varnas. Varnas was chosen based upon the student's learning during his time in the Gurukula, based upon the student's aptitude, based upon his interest, based upon what he actually wants to become in his life later on. The Acharyas used to train the student in that format. And then he would say, this student is a Brahmin, this student is a Kshatriya, this student is a Vaishya, this student is a Shudra. No kind of communication which says one is better than the other. All varnas are equal. They are the four stambhas, four pillars on which this life of humankind, thrives. So this is a very beautiful aspect of samāvarthana. And because samāvarthana happens to be the last day of the student in his Gurukula, we can say that these were the modern day convocation. Unfortunately, the current day convocation is anything but a simple event where you wear all those hoods and black dresses and take photographs, and that's it. There is no shikshana to the students once again being given. His responsibilities are not being talked about, and his varna is not being discussed. This only kind of makes us believe how far we have come from the beautiful aspects of life that Veda actually prescribed. Probably it is time for us to get back to that. With this, we come to samāvarthana, close it, and then we move on to the next sanskar, which is vivāha, marriage. This is a very important sanskar in the Shodasha Samskāras. This sanskar, as far as Vedic philosophy is concerned, is not mandatory. Not that everybody has to get married. Veda is very clear. You don't have to get married if you don't want to get married, and if you are not ready for the responsibilities that is associated with that. And this is the beginning of the grahastha-ashrama. This is the beginning of the grahastha-ashrama. Let's look at what we actually check in current day marriages. What do we check in our current day marriages? We first of all check whether the girl is beautiful, whether the boy is handsome or not. Okay, then we tick yes, it's all done. Whether the boy is wealthy, the boy's side will discuss. Did you observe the car in which the girls came to our house? Did you observe? BMW. Then it is absolutely clear. Oh, good. Girl is almost selected. And then they look at education, which is what? Nothing but degrees. The girl side will be discussing, hey, he's from IIT, I believe. No more questions asked. Passed with distinction. Oh, he's from regional colleges. Okay, no problem. We will take this. Right? And if he unfortunately happens to have got his degree from any other colleges like I have got, then, oh, this is a case for investigation. We need to look very deeply. These are the aspects on which we finalize the weddings today. Very unfortunate. But beyond this, there are two things which we conclude our weddings today, which is based on caste and jataka, almanac. Caste. There was no caste during the Vedic times. We have created it. And today we say intercaste marriages, right? Veda laughs at us. There was no caste. The whole word of intercaste itself is non-Vedic. Anyway, we look at it very, very seriously. And jataka, comparing the almanacs of the boy and the girl. And if there are a lot of weddings, which passes all these other tests that I was mentioning to you, but it fails there at the jataka, so they don't get married. As though everyone's jataka which has matched so far have never gone for a divorce. Anyway, that is one aspect of it. That's what we follow. But the Veda had very clearly said, none of these matter. What matters from Vedic perspective of vivāha is whether the boy and the girl is healthy enough to take this relationship forward. Number one, are they healthy enough? Number two, are they matured enough to understand the societal responsibilities and the responsibility that they have for each other in order to get into wedlock and take it further? Second responsibility. Third, do they belong to the same varna? Why? A Brahmin marrying a Brahmin, again, not caste. Every time I come, I will be repeating this just not to be misinterpreted. Not caste, but varna. If a Brahmin marries a Brahmin, both of them can get together in order to pursue a common interest, right? If a Brahmin marries a Kshatriya, it's not that the marriage won't work, but then they will have to make it work. It's not like made for each other, right? So varna was important. And it's very interesting to know that Vedic way of marriage, actually the best form of Vedic way of marriage is Swayamvara, where the girl chooses the boy, not the parents, not the uncle, aunt, and distant relatives who have all got an opinion when it comes to the marriage. No, the girl chooses the boy. So I very jokingly tell my friends, boss, what is this? We are telling that arranged marriage, ours is this kind of rubbish system and things like that. Look at the West, love marriage, that is the best, right? Actually, love marriage is the first concept which the Vedas themselves prescribed, right? A boy and a girl love each other, understand each other. They will decide whether they are ready for the marriage, and then they will announce to the society and the people that we are now ready to the marriage and ready for the samskara. And if they are not ready, Veda says this is not mandatory. You do not have to get it done at all. The samskara begins with the couple seeking the blessings. Blessings of what? Such a beautiful blessing. In couples stand in front, in folded hands in front of the people who have gathered there, and they seek their blessing and they say, our hearts have come together today. Please bless us. Our hearts have come together today like two waters have come together. It is said in Rigvedic mantra 10.85.47. Samapo Hrudayani. Now, Sama Apaha. Apaha means water. Like two waters has come together. Love, if you take a glass of water from Bengaluru and a glass of water from say Helsinki and bring it together and mix it in a jar, you can't say which water is from Helsinki and which water is from Bengaluru, right? As long as we take filtered water in Bengaluru. If you take it from the well, yes, of course, probably you might be able to say, I don't know, jokes apart, you won't be able to. The water mixes with each other so beautifully that you won't be able to differentiate that at all. We have come together to be like that. We have come from two different places, but we will join together, we will work together, we will walk together in such a beautiful way that it will look like unison personified. Such a beautiful one. Then during Panigrahana, there are a lot of mantras. The boy holds the girl's hand and he is making promises. He says, I am marrying you in complete knowledge and understanding of the responsibility that I have towards you and your people in the society at large. And both of us, let us work together in order to make this marriage a beautiful song. Such a nice mantra. These are the mantras which boy in front of the society which has gathered there, or his friends and relatives who are there, makes such promises. When somebody makes a promise in front of the public, it only takes a politician to go against it. But a normal human being, I'm sorry, I'm telling, politicians are not your normal human beings, but that apart, a very, very normal human being, when he makes a kind of pledge in front of people, it takes a lot of effort from him not to fulfill that. That's the beauty of that. Then follows the Laja Homa. Laja means Arulu. In Kannada, we call it as Arulu. It is popped paddy, like popcorn, the corn which is popped. Like that paddy is popped. And you will know that, in that Arulu, in lot of those Arulu, at the end, that paddy is still sticking around. And we make very nice sandige. I don't know the English term for sandige, but those are the crackers which we fry and then use it along with our food. So that Arulu, it is completely bloomed. Popped paddy is completely bloomed. And the girl takes that, offers it not only to the Yagna, but represents that, symbolically is telling that I am making these promises to you with my mind as much blown as this padded, as this popped paddy. So that is the symbolic representation. Laja means that. In that Laja Homa, while offering this, girl makes several promises. In fact, girl tells the boy that I understand that I have coming out of my parents' house and walking into your house, and I will work with you to make this house a Swarga, a heaven. In fact, there are mantras where both the boy and the girl also say in front of the public that we will not be unfaithful to each other. Veda's mantras are so powerful and can get into so much of depth into human behavior and human psyche that they are absolutely fine. In fact, the next mantra is my favorite. It is in the ritual, the boys' side, when they are welcoming the girl, boys' side, when they are welcoming the girl into their house, they make this mantra. Samragni Shvashure Bhava, Samragni Shvashram Bhava, Nanandhari Samragni Bhava, Samragni Adidev Vrushu. The boy side is telling the girl, please walk into our house, into our lives, and rule, reign like a queen. Samragni, like a queen. There is no master-slave relationship at all as far as Veda is concerned. It is telling the girl, come into our house and be the queen of this house. And when Veda tells something like this, very emphatically it stresses, so okay, you're coming into the house, you want to be a queen. Queen to whom? Veda says, Shvashure, to your father-in-law. Swashram, to your mother-in-law. Nanandhari, to your sister-in-laws. Devrushu, to your brother-in-laws. Which means that when you walk into your house, into our house, you rule here like a queen with all of us. But the beauty of Veda mantra is it's not telling we are going to make you the queen. It says Samragni Bhava. You become Purusha Prayatna. Once again, every mantra is loaded with Purusha Prayatna. They are telling my dear girl, come into this when with your beautiful conduct with each of these 4 characters, you rule us like a queen. Such a beautiful mantra. Now the question is, in vivāha, when is the couple declared as husband and wife? In our modern day vivāha, it is mangalya dharana. When the boy ties the 3rd knot on the mangalya around the neck of the wife, girl, they become husband and wife. But mangalya dharana itself is not a Vedic samskar. It is not prescribed in Vedic samskar. So when do they become husband and wife? When they finish the saptapadi. Saptapadi is the most important aspect of vivāha. What is the saptapadi? Boy and the girl takes 7 steps together. I will not run into all the mantras, but just to give you a highlight, Om Isha Ekapadi Baba. Having said this mantra, they say we are taking the first step together for food and willpower. Isha, food and willpower. Om Urje Dripadi Baba. We are taking the second step together for health. Om Rayas Poshaya Tripadi Baba. For all the sadhana sampat, materialistic accomplishments which is required for us to live comfortably. Veda never says these are not required. Veda only says, na pramaditavyam, be careful, knowing the limits. Then it talks about Om Mayo Bhuvyaya Chatushpadi Baba. For happiness and bliss, we are taking together this 4th step. And Om Prajabhya Panchapadi Baba. We are taking now the 5th step in order to have good offsprings and be fulfilling the responsibilities to make them supraja. Om Rutubhya Shatpadi Bhava. For a disciplined life, we are taking now the 6th. And finally they say Om Sake Saptapadi Bhava. We are now taking the 7th one for the sake of friendship. Such a beautiful one. Look at the way Veda mantras prioritize what is important for us. First it is food, then Icha Shakti, and then health. It doesn't say wealth first, health. That's why we say health is wealth. In today's thing, we are all realizing, when after losing the health, that health is really the wealth. Health comes much ahead. And then the wealth, sadhana sampattu. If you are all have got this, happiness and bliss. And then you work your life through in order to make your children suprajaha. Is it enough? We forget? No. You need to continue to have this disciplined life all through and then enjoy this friendship between your spouse, with your spouse. This is what it is. And I personally consider friendship as one of the best relationships. Father, son, mother, sister, brother, all of this comes to us from blood with a certain sacredness. We don't have to do anything much in order to sustain that. But friendship is our purusha prayatna. We work hard to ensure that we become friends for somebody. The husband and wife who come from 2 different bloodstream, 2 different families will have to work together as friends in order to make their family a great place. At the end it says, Yujjaste Saptapadi Sakasmi. After all these 7 steps, the boy tells the girl tells the boy, or the husband tells the girl, and the girl tells the wife tells the boy that we are now friends. So Veda Vivāha, one aspect, I'm running short of time. One aspect I want to tell is Veda Vivāha is definitely not the kind of, it's a celebration or the festival that we have for Vivāha today. It's very, very simple. It has a prayer done to the god. The boy and the girl exchange promises in front of the people. There is an yagna, there is a laja homa, there is a panigrahana, and then Saptapadi's blessings. This is a very simple sanskar which can be done within the house. I would like to highlight here that one of my friend works for a microeconomic company, and he is in touch with the farmers day in and day out. And he revealed to me a fact. He said farmers are not suffering because of their loans that they take for the cultivation. Yes, they do take loans, and some of them, for the vagaries of the farming itself, they will suffer, and they are, genuinely need help. But then he said, big amount of loan the farmers takes not for cultivation or for agriculture, but to ensure that their children get married. Because in the villages, marriage is such an ostentatious celebration that people spend a lot of money on that. I think at least for those people, those who have money, let them spend enough of their money to make these vivāhas ostentatiously, because they are also helping the economy in a way. But for at least those for whom it's hurting their life, I think the solution for their happiness, their bliss is Vedic vivāha. That's all I would like to say as far as vivāha is concerned. Now we come to the next one, which is vānaprastha. It is done mostly around half of the lifespan is over, assuming that a man and woman lives for up to about 100 years. From the age of 50, Veda says you can be getting into vānaprastha. But you should have completed at least 25 years as grahastha. That's minimum 25 years Veda prescribes for a grahastha. After that, you think of vānaprastha, not till then. So we have a lot of people who even before that, they are trying to do all of that. Veda says, be grahastha, those responsibilities you fulfill for 25 years and then take a vānaprastha. I told you, like vivāha, vānaprastha is also not mandatory. When will a person start looking at getting into this? When I becomes our. When his thought of my family gets transformed into our society, then he is ready for vānaprastha. When his societal responsibilities get replaced by societal duties, I'm very carefully using these two words, responsibilities and duties. Though on the face of it, both kind of mean the same, there is a very vast difference between the two. I'll just tell you in one sentence, you can shrug your responsibilities, you can't shrug your duties. That is the major difference. So the required trait of somebody who wants to go through the samskar and become a vānaprastha is his health, his aptitude to do all of this, his knowledge base, and a very little bit of virakti, detachment. If somebody doesn't have any of this, Veda says you are wasting your time. Don't become a vānaprastha. And it is not telling it is wrong on your part. No, it says, hey guy, chill out. You be a grahastha for the rest of your life, no issues, and continue your responsibilities there. You don't have to become vānaprastha. But if you want to become vānaprastha, you should mandatorily have these things. Otherwise, you will just be wasting your time, my boy. This is what Veda very clearly tells us. So the transformation of the grahastha to vānaprastha is very beautifully captured in Yajurveda mantra 19.30. व्रतेन दीक्षामाप्नोति दीक्षयाप्नोति दक्षिणाम दक्षिणा श्रद्धमाप्नोति श्रद्धया सत्यमाप्यते. So beautifully, one step to the other, leading to the other, how a person can, grahastha can become a vānaprasthi. It says from a disciplined life you will get will to do good, and from that will you will increase your abilities which are good for you to serve the society, and from that sense of ability you will develop shraddha, devotion, and from that devotion you will stick to truth. And what is that truth? What is the truth which makes some grahasthas to look at vānaprastha as the next step in their journey of life? Is that suddenly a realization dawns on such people. They suddenly realize to the fact that, hey, yaar, I have got so much from this world. I've got so much of help that I have got from my parents, from my so many associates, my friends, this society at large. I have learned so much from my wife, my children, and so on. Nature has given me so much, right from food to the dress that I am wearing. God has given air for free, water for free. Oh, so all of this has come to me without my asking at all. Don't I feel that this is time for me to repay all of this? Once that idea comes into a grahastha, of course, after 25 years of grahasthashram, he is ready for the sanskar of vānaprastha. Self gets replaced by service. That's why we say vānaprasthas are indulged in selfless service. That's the most important thing. So what do vānaprasthas generally do? They announce to the family that they would like to take up vānaprastha, have a small yagna, call the people, and through mantras tell them what is going on in their mind, and then they withdraw, not completely. Some of them might go to the forest and live and all, but most of them will go to smaller places, simple living, outskirts of the city, settle down there. They might set up a hospital if they are doctors to start taking care of the needy, sick, and they might build a small gurukula and become acharyas themselves. They might establish a chhatra to feed the people who are hungry, and so on and so forth. These kinds of societal things they will start doing in their life. If I have to map it to the modern day, living, it is like transformation from an entrepreneur to somebody who wants to set up an NGO, right? When we are working in our career and other things, what do you want to do? I want to be an entrepreneur. What? I have a great idea. I want to encash it. I want to make money. Great. After around 50, 55 years, you ask the same person, he says, no, I want to set up an NGO and do something to the society. This happens not just during the Vedic times, it happens at all times. And those grihasthas who go through this are ready for vānaprastha. Otherwise, Veda says, don't bother at all. Continue to be a grihastha. Continue to be a good person, good grihastha. The next one is sannyāsa. 15th one is sannyāsa. This is the final stage of one's life. When is it to be done? It has to be done after vānaprastha. Roughly 10 years after vānaprastha. There is nothing like, it is prescribed that only after 10 years. If somebody, 2 years into being vānaprastha gets the urge to be a sannyasi, he can. But then there are certain criteria for being a sannyasi. Here, the selfless service, which I said was the attribute of the vānaprastha, is now transforming into a much bigger ideal, a much bigger aspect in life. And that is Vishwa Manavatva, universal brotherhood. The minute the vānaprasthi starts feeling that he is being constrained by the geography with regards to his selfless service and wants to extend it beyond boundaries, he is ready to be a sannyasi. How does the sanskar happens? Another sannyasi will initiate the sanskar to the vānaprasthi who wants to become a sannyasi. And during this sanskar, there are a lot of very meaningful mantras and rituals. The person who's taking up the sannyasa diksha will stand in water. He will shave off his head to say that he's no more being attached to anything worldly, any external things like recognition and so on and so forth. He will remove his yagnopavita, and because those responsibilities is already fulfilled. He has already done. That is when he is now ready for a universal service. So he will remove that. He will wear saffron cloths, and he is now ready to be a sannyasi. And when he is sannyasi, he takes a couple of oaths, 4 or 5 of them, very important, like vittaishana, putraishana, lokaishana. He says, I am now going to detach myself from my family and friends. I am going to detach myself from wealth and other worldly beings, materialistic things. I am now not going to aspire for any recognition, sanman, and so on and so forth. I will be detaching myself from a given place, which means that I now will not stay at one place, build a beautiful mata, earn a lot of riches and so on and so forth. They are not sannyasis from the Vedic philosophy. The Vedic philosophy, they are not sannyasis if they stick to one place. So what should they do? They should become parivrajakas. Means they should be traveling around the world and going and meeting people and then spreading the knowledge, which is so very vital for the rest of the people in order to make their lives better. That's what it is. And Veda very clearly says, it's a very beautiful thing. When it says that a sannyasi has to detach himself from the family and friends, a lot of people say, detach, just stop thinking about them or leave that place, go into a guha or some cave, and then detachment will come to you. No, sannyasa prescribes detachment in a very, very beautiful way. It says if you want to really detach from all these things, that's why when I was talking about vānaprastha, I said little 3-4 times when I spoke about virakti, but that virakti is almost complete when you want to become a sannyasi. And how does he complete it? Not by detaching the family and friends, but by attaching the rest of the world as important as his family and friends. Now look at it. You have some water in your cup and you go and stand in front of the ocean. You want to get into the ocean, but you cannot leave this. You are attached. You cannot leave this and get into the ocean. So what you do, a sannyasi does, he will take the water in his glass and mixes it with ocean. Now his family and friends and all of those things from which he wanted to get detached has become a subset of the universe, and now he looks at everybody. He travels around the world. In fact, it is said in sannyasa dharma in Vedic philosophy that a sannyasi cannot stay for more than 3 nights in a place. He should be constantly on the move, and in those 3 nights he should impart the knowledge, impart the ultimate truth which he has realized to the people who actually require that to better their life. So he ends up telling, Om Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo Mattah Swaha. Let there be no harm from me, from anybody in this universe, and let me protect everybody. Now, once you bring in that universal brotherhood to the sannyasi, he cannot be attached to his people, his varna, and his region, his language, and so on and so forth. Everybody becomes his children, and he has to protect all of them by traveling around the place. So again, this calls for a lot of work. He should be healthy, he should be fit, he should have really attained that virakti where he will not differentiate even a worm from another worm. That level of maturity he should have. So Veda says, if you haven't got all of this, don't worry, don't become a sannyasi. I'm not telling you have to become a sannyasi in order to lead a good life. If you are still a grihastha, continue to be a good grihastha. If you are a vānaprastha and you say that's your limit, continue to be a vānaprastha, a good person. And suppose after vānaprastha you say, no, sannyasa, I want to get back into grihastha, go get back into that. Veda doesn't prescribe any do this like this. It only says do this, eshaha adeshaha, when it comes to yama, when it comes to yama niyama, when it comes to certain aspects like satyam vada, dharmam chara, which cannot be compromised at all. For all these sanskars, you should be ready to do this and take it forward for your own betterment of your own life. So that is it. Then we now come to antyeshti. I've really speeded up, and I'm very happy that I still have 10 minutes to complete the last one. I was thinking that I would run short of time. Anyway, the final one is antyeshti, the final rites. The antyeshti as prescribed by the Vedic philosophy is slightly or significantly different from the current day Shraddha karma that we perform. Personally, I feel that in the current day Shraddha karma that we perform, few things are noticeable. One is it's very lengthy and it's very prolonged. In fact, the karma karyas can go into days, weeks, months, and years. It's very prolonged, it's very lengthy. That is one aspect. I'm not telling whether it's bad or good or anything like that. These are just observations of that. Then it's very, very detailed. And then because it is attached to that aspect of life, which is death, and none of us understand that. And we end up doing this because somebody has gone, and nobody has enlightened us about what death is. And we ourselves are not matured enough to understand death from its right perspective. There's a lot of fear in the karmas that we do, a lot of confusions. There are a lot of beliefs, sometimes mūdanambikes, blind beliefs, blind faiths. But antyeshti, as prescribed by Vedic philosophy, is very simple, straightforward, crisp and clear, period. In order to understand and appreciate the antyeshti samskara as prescribed by the Vedas, we need to understand three things that Veda keeps on telling us. Once we understand and appreciate these three aspects of Veda, antyeshti becomes very clear for us. And what are these things? In my opinion, one is that Veda says death is as natural as hunger, sleep, or thirst. You feel thirsty, you drink water. You feel hungry, you eat food. You are tired, you go to sleep. Just like that. The second aspect, anuchetana will leave your body once it finds this body not supporting its journey any further, without an iota of love and affection, without an iota of hesitation. It just throws the body out and goes off. So death is as natural as this. When anuchetana wants to leave you, it leaves you like this. Right? And there is universal rule for that, which in our limitations of human psyche, we won't be able to understand and appreciate all of that, but we know that this is for fact. These are the two aspects. And the third aspect is, we know that, but we need to understand in order to understand how, in order to appreciate why Vedas have prescribed antyeshti in that particular form. Veda says, the minute anuchetana, the soul has left the body and gone for its next journey, based on its own karma siddhanta and the universal laws that the niyamaka has set forward, the body which is fallen to the ground from that second, from that moment starts decomposing. Period. Veda clearly says, and that's truth. It starts decomposing. Now, these three aspects about death is what actually defines the antyeshti sanskara from the Vedas. So if you understand these three clearly, we will have no confusion in understanding antyeshti. So in one of the Vedic mantras, Yajurveda 40.15, 40.15, it says, Bhasmantam Shariram. Sharira Antam Bhasmaha. Veda says the body has to end in ashes. So the best way in order to get rid of a decomposing body is to burn it. Very clearly, Veda says this is the best way to do. People might say, oh, this is going to spoil or pollute the atmosphere and so on and so forth. So Veda prescribes a particular way in which you need to burn the body by putting so much of quantity of ghee into that, by putting so many medical herbs and other things into that. And if these go through a sanskar in the fire, they will ensure that the environment is not spoiled because of that. Forget about spoiling the environment. It will not even give foul smell. Veda very clearly says. So antyeshti has to be done in this particular way. Veda is absolutely environment friendly. If there is one text in the world which unambiguously says that you have to take care of the environment which has been given to you by the Almighty, it is only Vedic text, which keeps on repeating. Here also they say, after 1 or 2 days, when everything is cooled off, you pick the remains of the body, which is the bones and ash and other things. You take that, and it never says go and put it into running water, because that is very clearly you're spoiling the hygiene of the water by doing that. Veda says take it to a remote place, dig a hole and put it into the earth, and it will be taken care of. You don't have to dirty the waters. And also death has happened in the house. The decomposing body has been kept there for some time. So Veda prescribes an agnihotra or something like that, in order to purify the air and also to lessen the grief that the family is going through. So that's all it is. So the mantras which Veda prescribes, say for example at the burial ground when the body is put on fire or just about to be put on fire, we also see in our current Shraddha Karmas when we go to the crematorium, there are a lot of mantras. We think, because we are not educated, we are not told by the Purohit who's doing all of that. We think it is all for the body, but Veda mantras done at that time is not for the dead body, because body is dead. A soul has already gone somewhere, it is not there at all. So all the mantras there are for the people who have come in order to perform this. This is one samskar where it is Kartru is unfortunately not there in the picture at all. It is for the people who have come to do the karya. The mantras are addressing people there. There is a Rigvedic mantra which is used, 10.14.8. It says, Sam gacchasva pitrubihi, sam yamenashta purtena parame vyoman, hitvaya vadyam punarastamehi sam gacchasva tanva suvarcha. Punarastamehi, it is telling all the people, yes, you have come, you have finished all this sanskar. Punarastamehi, please go back to your houses now. Please go back to your houses and continue your routine as though nothing has happened. Please go back to your houses. And then what? Hitvaya vandyam, avadyam hitvaya. Don't continue to do wrong things. Go back and start doing good things. Start doing good things. What are the good things? Yamenashtasam, Yamena sam, Yama niyama, telling truth, asteya, not stealing, aparigraha, being satisfied with what you want, not acquiring beyond your necessities, shaucha, being clean, not just outside but within you, aparigraha, and all of this, Yama niyama, the 10 principles. It says follow that and be good. Enough of this. And there are mantras which says what you are looking now is at a dead body. Just a few minutes ago, this body was something for you, and now it is not there. And it is admonishing, it is warning the people around. You will also become like this one day very soon. So the time you have, you don't know, it might be very short. Go back to your home, guys, and do something good. Live a much better life. Now tell me, when somebody comes to a place like that, first of all, they're emotionally moved because they have lost somebody dear and near. And at that time, if this kind of a sanskar is given to them, will it not sink into them a lot better than them going back and reading it or understanding it a much later time in the life? I think this is where the Vedic samskars are very practical and very, very precise and very, very clear in the messages that they do. There is no confusion at all. With this, I come to the conclusion of all the Shodasha Samskaras that we wanted to cover. It has been a great journey as far as I'm concerned. In conclusion, I would just take another 2 minutes to conclude the series on Shodasha Samskara. Why these Shodasha Samskaras? There are 6 aspects which I believe are very important for us to understand. And once we understand these 6 aspects, we will make an attempt to somehow bring the sanskars into our life. One is the sanskars are there to provide shikshana at the right time to the right person. It has identified 16 stages in life and says these times are the times when it has to provide shikshana. And that's what it does through Shodasha Samskara. The Shodasha Samskaras are very, very simple and cost effective. Unfortunately, today's sanskars celebrations are very different from the Vedas prescription. But if we can go back to the Vedic way of doing the sanskars, it is very, very simple and very cost effective. Everybody can be done. And all of this are for, all the samskaras are for everybody, irrespective of caste, creed, color, rich, poor, gender, boy, girl. It's there for everybody. And these Shodasha Samskaras are absolutely practical and logical. That is why when you're doing this, you will not get confused because it's very, very logically done. You won't get confused. You will never ask the question, why am I doing all of this? No. Vedic Samskaras are so simple, so straightforward, so logical that you will not get an answer. You will not get a question, doubt like that. And if you get a doubt, somewhere in the Vedic Samskar itself, you will also find the answer. The sanskars are important because it brings a higher meaning to life. It's not just doing some rituals, blah, 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 mana, 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 you did this and you say, I have finished it. No, it brings in a certain higher ideal, certain higher meaning to your life. And if you can recognize that, these samskars are very important for you because they are the stepping stone for you to reach to the next higher ideal in life. They provide a lot of motivation. Unlike the other mantras, other prayers, this provides a lot of motivation through one aspect, which is so very unique to Vedic mantras. For me, I have found this to be absolutely important for me. They stress for Purusha Prayatna. Every now and then, even within a mantra, after the Sankalpa is over, there is Purusha Prayatna. Bhagavan, give me burgers, and I'm going to wear it like my personality. That Sankalpa is immediately followed by Purusha Prayatna. Arthanusandhana Acharane. You have to understand the meaning and bring it into your life. Vedic sanskars can really transform people. And why the 6th aspect of it? It is putting forward the truth. And that's why it has the conviction to say, Eshaha Sandeshaha. This is my message to you and you have to follow it. Why is it considered truth? Because the truth as propounded by Veda mantras and the Vedic sanskars are Sarvakalika, Sarvadeshika, Sarvajanika, and Sarvabhauma. And I think if we can appreciate this, and if not all the sanskars as complete as prescribed by the Vedas, even if a few of them, even if it is not done at the time prescribed by the Vedas, somewhere during our life, if we can bring the essence of any of these samskars into our life, we start dharana, we start meditating on them, and we start rakshana, we start nurturing them, poshana, we start nurturing them, then we will be greatly benefited. With that, I come to the conclusion. I take this opportunity to record my sincere thanks to Pujya Swami Chidananda ji and very affectionate Vibhaji for having given me this beautiful opportunity to come and talk about the Shodasha Samskaras with you all. I would also like to thank each one of you for being with me in this journey. And finally, I would like to thank my very affectionate Guru Vedadhyayi Sri Sudhakara Sharmaji, who has taught me this Vedic philosophy in such a beautiful way that has appealed to my inner self. And if not anything at all, at least it is allowing me to introspect and then try in a very small way if I can better myself from what I used to be a few months back. With this, I conclude and I thank one and all. Hari Om. Vibhaji?
Yes, Hari Om. I'm just
Hari Om,
looking for
Vibhaji.
if there are any questions. Hari Om, Hari Om. Yes, there is question from Anita ji. Yes, Anita ji. Please ask.
Good evening, Mr. Satyesh. I think that was a very good lecture. I mean, you see the passion in which you speak, and I'm very sure that you are very committed to what you have been saying. I just had one doubt, a clarification. According to the Vedic philosophy, vivāha, the rituals are very simple and very small, and we see that there is no mangal sutra or the torings and any other symbols which kind of symbolizes that a woman is married. So in the Vedic philosophy, I mean, how would one recognize a woman as married or unmarried? And or was it that it really doesn't matter whether a woman is married or not married? The respect and whatever you give to a woman should remain the same. But
So this is
symbols that would indicate that a woman is married in those days?
somewhere in one of the earlier samskaras, I had said that Veda doesn't believe in any symbolize, except for that Egnopavita, which is on the student in order to keep on reminding him his three responsibilities. In most of the other things, the Vedas don't believe in symbolism. The Veda, I had asked this question to my Guruji. In fact, in one sentence he had answered me. He said, the married woman will let know the society that she is married by her conduct. Simple. And that one sentence, if you extrapolate it and think it through, it has so much of profound meaning. You don't need to have a necklace or a ring in order to tell the world that this is what I am. I am what I am in the world's perception based on my conduct. So Veda lays a lot of importance on the conduct, and people will come to know whether he or she is married, whether he or she is leading a good life, whether he or she is fulfilling their responsibilities, looking at the conduct of them in the society. I think that's what is the essence of the Vedic philosophy. Thanks, Sanitaji.
Okay. Yeah. Then thank you. Thank you very much.
There is a question.
No, there is a text.
Yeah. So the
Can you
question
take
is
that?
from in this fourth episode, Vibhaji, I'm getting acquainted with this a little bit. So the question is from A.R. Gandhi, which is, what is the curriculum in the Gurukula? Do they cover Vedas and all? Okay, the Gurukula way of education doesn't cover just Vedas. It's a misconception that we have is that only a few set of class of students used to go to the Gurukula and then end up learning Vedas. No, Gurukula was for the complete well-being of the student. It used to teach Vedas definitely, because Vedas was the basis. It's the life sciences. After the Vedas, if a boy wanted to become a carpenter, there were acharyas who could teach them carpentry. If a boy wanted to be a kshatriya, a warrior, there were acharyas who could teach him the warfare. So there were like any university of modern day where you go there are professors from all disciplines, and depending upon your aspiration you go. But in today's thing, you only end up learning a skill based on your aspiration. That basic value foundation through Vedas is not there in our universities. So if you want to compare the current universities to Gurukula does everything that our current universities does in a much better way. Plus, it adds an element of learning for the Vedas. But if there is a student who wants to become a Vedadhyayi, Chaturvedi, then he takes a different course. So there is nothing like a specific curriculum. The acharyas, because the student stays with them over a period of time, will observe the students, their aspirations, will talk to them, find out what interests them, what innate skill sets that they have for a particular thing, and then ensure that they become experts in that field. That is the typical, very ideal Gurukula system of education that prevailed.
Again, Anita ji has raised the hand.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, Anita ji.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to find out whether, see, after Vivāha, you said that vānaprastha and this thing, sannyāsa, are not compulsory. The
Even
person,
Vivāha is not compulsory from Vedic
yeah,
perspective.
can continue
Yeah.
as they can continue as the grihastashram, till the end. So does that mean the other 14 are compulsory?
Yes, yes, yes. They are compulsory in the sense, again, Veda. See, the beauty of Vedic philosophy is it doesn't say if you don't do this, God will punish you. No, it never says that. You will go to hell if you don't do this. Like we have a lot of practices where the stories are that you forgot to eat the prasad and come, the husband's ship which is on the sea disappears. Why will God come and do all of that? God is kindness personified. Why does God wants to come and punish us? Veda doesn't prescribe all of that. These are mandatory in the sense that there is no ability which is required in order to conduct the sanskars as it is required in vivāha, vānaprastha and sannyāsa. You are doing annaprashana to a child. The first day that it is transforming itself from the mother feed to the other diet, the other people will do it. There is no ability, no skill set, no prerequisites required to do that. So it can be considered as mandatory, but Veda is very, very clear. You do what is comforting you. If you don't do it, you won't go to hell. As far as Veda is concerned, this concept of hell punishment doesn't exist. It's a very beautiful, simple, very logical way in which it allows us to live a better life. That's all.
Okay, but nowadays we find that before Vivāha, before the wedding, one has to undergo the Upanayana, at least the males. Is that something which is not Vedic? Or is it that only after Upanayana a person, a male or a girl or a boy is ready for marriage? Is that the meaning?
In fact, it's a good question. Honestly, I don't know the answer because I have not got this clarification with my Guruji or in all the discussions that we have in our classes. But having understood Vedas a little bit, and if I use my own analysis to this, I think that everybody in those days used to go to the Gurukula and used to have Upanayana done there on the first day. And then they used to come and form the Grihasthashrama. So it was kind of something that was done before they get into the Grihasthashrama. I don't know where these changed in the society, and Upanayanam got kind of attached to the Vivāha. I might be absolutely wrong here, but if I, based on my very little learning of Vedas, will have to extrapolate it and look at it, and that's what beauty of Veda. Veda allows you to do all of this exercises and experiments. I think that Upanayana might probably not be a prerequisite for Vedas, for Vivāha. I might be absolutely wrong, but I would rather like to think that way from the way I have understood Vedas. But this is something that I will check with my Guruji and get back.
Right. Thank you so much, Satish.
Thank you.
There is
Vijay Lakshmi.
Lakshmi Bangera.
Yes. Vijay Lakshmi ji?
Oh, no, we cannot unmute her. There's some
I
problem.
unmuted her actually.
But anyway,
Okay. There is another question from Mr. A.R. Ganti. It says, where and when the transition to spirituality is covered, unless it is intermingled and not separated from the daily living. Where and when the transition to spirituality is covered, unless it is intermingled and not separated from the daily living. If I understand the question right, if you have seen all the 16 Shodasha Samskāras, from the prior to birth to sannyāsa, if you have seen that, at every stage there is a different learning that the Vedas will describe through its acharana and anusandhana. For example, when you are getting into vānaprastha, it talks about virakti, not so much, but a little bit of virakti. When you move into sannyasa, it talks about virakti in all its manifestation. So what I mean is that these sanskaras at every stage is giving a little bit of spiritual training, spiritual knowledge to the people. It's up to us to take it, move on to the next level, seek further on, move on to the next level. So in our daily life, spirituality is a part of our daily life. That's what the Veda prescribes. And these sanskars are kind of, as I have repeatedly said, gentle reminders for us to remember what we have forgotten in the hubbub of our daily life and then get back into the right path. I don't know if I answered your question, but that's what comes to my mind at this point in time.
yes. Okay, then we wind up. I don't think
Yeah.
there are any questions.
Yes, Vibhaji.
Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you.
Satyaji. Really, thank you so much that you covered
Thanks.
everything the sanskara. And really, we got a lot of knowledge, which being so-called Sanatan Dharmi, sometimes we have not gone through all this aspect of our learning. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Vibhaji. I enjoyed this. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om. We'll see you soon in another
Thanks, Vibhaji.
subject.
Oh, thanks, Vibhaji. Thanks a lot.